22nd of March, 1941. Italians playing their turn in the at the end of the cycle, and we have just moved some of our units, moved those units in reserve that we wanted to move, and fiddled around with some guys down here, and we've laid out our aircraft that we wish to use for some hip shots. Now, and in fact, this one won't be hip shots. It's not adjacent. There's no unit adjacent to it. So we'll be doing that in the barrage phase later on. Suffice to say, the idea is for Rommel to what he's trying to achieve here is some form of surprise. So we've moved some units up here with the threatening to attack from this angle. Really, what I want to do is try and punch straight down the highway, blow through this hedgehogged unit here. It's not super strong. It is a two-step unit though. But I'm hoping that either this hex and or this hex, blow these two out and start pushing this way. That threat will force all of this to pull back and collapse around Bardia Solemn. And that will allow me more flexibility to move on to the next phase of actions. And by then I'll have my 3 Panzer units from with Marx. Actually, it's 2 Panzer units with Marx. He'll be in town by then. They're just about to enter the map next turn. Going to bring these guys in. And they're going to add some much needed oomph, I should say, not oomphs. So I've got to say that the choices being made here are really challenging because there are very few units. So mistakes that you make count, and the area that we're dealing with is very small. Although there's a huge map area around us, due to supply constraints, you really can't take that much advantage of it. I certainly think you could do an end around here, but there's not enough force in this reserve stack. I'll show you what's here to really pack a punch and continue with the advance. So for instance, in this stack here, right, there's 6, 8, 12, 15, 17 combat factors, which is nice, and there's a 5 AR there, a couple of 5 ARs. In fact, there's 4 5 ARs. Now we can either use that in one pack-a-punch approach, or we can spread it across some other units, and that may be a choice. That was actually here. That may be a choice that we make at some point in the near future. I just got to see how it all works out. I'm just very reticent to end up in a situation where, for whatever reason, that I end up messing. I want to say messing up, not making rules errors, but making gross mistakes that really change the fundamental nature of the game and the conflict. I really do want to try and play this out through 1941 to get a feel, at least, right, to get a feel for the campaign in a significant portion of it. So I think the conclusion I've come to is that what I'll probably end up doing is, if I do make some sort of massive tactical mistake that blows up the game, we might just find a scenario that is near enough to that point and then reset from there. That's one idea. The other idea would be just to wind it back a month and replay. I'm trying to take pictures every month of where stuff is, and I seem to be able to remember mostly where everything is anyway. If I can see a picture, I can recall what was in the stack most of the time. So that's my plan. And so in order to avoid that, I've been very, very tentative with both sides. The last turn we had a great, this last Allied action had back-to-backs, and we managed to get enough supply up to do 3 or 4 little attacks, and we took out three battalions, which, that's nice, but it's an expensive way to do it. It's hard to get that in OOS opportunity here, as far as I can tell anyway. So it really is a kind of a bludgeon at each other approach for the time being. until some things change. And we'll see what happens coming into March and April, the rest of March and April, May, if that changes the dynamic at all. All right, 5 minutes of probably nothing, but there you go. Let's go run these attacks and I'll come back and we'll see what happened. So we ran the 2 air combats, so 1 DG, which it takes it out of reserve, but it's still got O'Connor there, so they can, they can try and jump back. Actually, maybe you can't now that he's DG. He may not be able to. The unit there may not be able to participate, but we'll see. So that guy's out more than likely. This bombardment failed, and we lost a step. Asshole. And this happens in a few minutes. So that's going to change what we're going to do. Without this being DG'd, I really don't want to risk the using Rommel's big stack against that. I was going to move up some arty to kind of have a shot at that if that failed, but I did not do that. So I think we're going to go to Plan B, and Plan B is we're going to attack this unit here with this honker, and we'll go for it and take it from there. I think in the reserve not reaction mode, reaction phase, in the exploit phase, we can do that. This might be an opportunity here as well, this 4-2 with these combined forces here, so maybe we'll do that. Well, just to wrap this up, instead of attacking that unit on under the hedgehog there, the odds were just going to be awful. We elected to strike the unit next to it, which was a brigade that had taken a step loss. So the combat strength was only 3, and that ended up being a nice 7-1 attack. But we still took a loss. Had to take this guy. He was the unit we used for the AR rating. And so that was another expensive attack. Cost me 5T to run that attack, and plus the movement, and for really very little gain. So this I'm really struggling with this. It's great. It's a brain buster for me because it's very different from Guderian's Blitzkrieg and different from TBL. I'm enjoying it immensely, and it's helping to solidify my meager appreciation for the rules, I guess. I'm spending quite a bit of time doing some lookups on rules to make sure I'm playing it mostly correctly as best I can anyway. Alright, we'll add this to that last file, and this should wrap up the end of the 22nd, and we'll have 2 more turns to go before the end of March. 26th of March, Italian turn. They win initiative back to back. They immediately press the advantage by fueling all of their forces down here and overrunning O'Connor. O'Connor dies. So does the 6th Royal Tank Regiment. That is a big blow. Up the top here, we managed to DG these forces here, so we can slow down their exit. And secondarily, we DG the 7th Indian Brigade from 4th Indian Division. He was here. We DG these chaps, and then overran them pretty much with 27 factors. And we need to roll for Rommel, and unfortunately that is not a good roll. Let me check that. Whew. Okay, he's not captured. Wait, Rommel gets it +1. Oh my gosh, I thought he was captured. So we roll a 5 a net 5. So he's wounded, so he's going to be gone now for 3 turns. That sucks the donkey, doesn't it? Boy, 1, 2, 3. So he'll be back in, he's over here. So there he is. Does he look wounded? He does look wounded to me. All right, man. Let's see. Where are we? So this is the end of the movement phase. We've done our overruns, and now there's not really much combat we're going to do. I think we're going to let the Allies try and work their own way out of their own problems. We're in supply here via the DAK headquarters up the top there. He's all the way up into Brook, but he's got the MPs to make that happen. Tempting to attack some of these other forces here, but I really feel like I don't need to now. I've opened the Capuzzo escarpment Capuzzo Escarpment road to Bardia, the guys are going to have to pull back, or they're doomed. So interesting situation. We'll see what the British come up with, the Allies come up with. Sorry, English, British, UK, Scottish, Irish, Welsh. It's all okay. Midway through the 26th, yeah, the Italians had picked up their opportunity to move, so they have had 2 turns now in a row, back to back. I think that's right. Oh no, actually, last turn the Allies wrapped it up with the Axis 1 initiative for the 26th. So we were previously situated up here. We've now pulled back a little bit. We having a rough time of it. Just really struggle with the Allies. All these units that have yellow circles can't be replaced. So they're a one-shot deal. You lose them in a combat and they're done. There's not so much of that with the Axis forces that I've seen so far. And I'm really having a hard time getting good odds on any attacks here. Even I did one overrun here, and I kind of lost an armored car battalion. Picked up a AO1, and in an overrun, we've got to take that advance. So we had to lose a step, and it was a pretty good attack. It was where were we? Where are we here? Well, maybe it wasn't that good an attack, but nevertheless, it was 3 to 1, and +2 on the roll. We did not pick up surprise though. That's where the problem was. Anyway, we will see how we go. I'm done for the turn with these guys. They've done their supply. They're not doing combat this turn, and we're just trying to pull back. And the Axis will now kick into gear. I think we've got enough to hold this for the time being, but once again, I'm really worried that this could all be over in a hurry. We'll see. I'll be really curious, actually, guys, if you've played DAK2, what your experiences have been, and whether anyone's played it through a significant portion and stuck it out regardless of the losses to see what happens. These losses are not anywhere near as bad as the first time I played. But they're pretty significant. I'll show you the loss pile here, and this is it here. Look, I mean that's a honking big old pile. Had all these forces withdrawn. I have to pull another Aussie brigade out, which reminds me I need a marker on that guy there because he's got 3 turns left. And these guys have been removed as well. So it's a challenge. We'll court it. I'll try and edit that out for you. All right, that's the status so far. We'll wrap up the 26th and try and get through the month.